Welcome to the Protein Bros podcast. On today's episode, we have a very special guest. Her name is Olivia Derry. The reason I loved this conversation was purely because it is a conversation for anybody who is interested in the process of going from a regular 9-to-5 job into the fitness industry and basically betting on yourself and taking a chance on following your dreams. Olivia owns Lift With Liv, something that she had planned to do and wanted to do for a very long time, but while she was working a corporate job, it took a long time for her to make the jump. This conversation is great. You kind of go through all the different emotions that go into starting a business and taking the leap. And really, it was just a fun conversation. As always, like, comment, and share, and let's get you guys to the episode.
It's like, what's the last time you got sold on something and you were like, dang, they got a good point. We're like, we've been doing sales for so long that it's like when I walk into a sales situation,
where I felt
can't wait to see what this guy tries to do on me. Oh, can't wait for the spiel, whatever. And then I'm like back now I find myself in the conversation and I'm like, oh no, that's good. Yeah. Oh no. Okay, never mind. I'm in. Like the last time I did this, I was at Nebraska Furniture Mart where they don't even have like high pressure sales. I believe that they're all commission, but it's like 10% or something, right? Yeah. And I'm laying on like a $2,000 mattress. And like my last mattress.
The mattress sold it, not the guy.
Yes, it did. And no, but didn't. Let me explain. So like there's I forgot the marketing term for it, but there's like a threshold of a number that you're like okay with, right? Like everybody has kind of a perceived value of a certain item. It's like, a burger might, if it costs $20, you're like, I'd never spend $20 on a burger. But if it's a really great burger for $10, you're okay with it. Right. So a mattress for me was like $300, $400. I'd never spent more than that. And I'd never had any problem sleeping. So here I am laying on this $2,000 mattress. I'm like, this is awesome. And it's got these cooling gels in it. And it's like, oh yeah, man, you get hot while you sleep. I'm like, so hot. He's like,
what a question. Everybody gets hot when they sleep.
Everybody. Really?
Yeah. But I like wake up sweating. Yeah. And he's like, not anymore. Not with the Climacool. Not with the Climacool 10,000.
Got you.
Not anymore.
And then no, like I'm on the hook already. But then I'm like, $2,000, Yeah. $2,000. And he's like, you spent a third of your life on your bed.
Oh, that's a classic. Oh my God. That is a classic.
He looked me in the eye. He's like, you spent a third of your life on a bed.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, you got to hit him in the emotions. That's what people buy.
He's like, wouldn't you want to spend, don't you want to invest in something that you're going to spend a third of your life on, Jeff?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
I was like, that's such a good point.
You didn't regret that purchase though, did you?
Not a day.
Yeah.
Not a day. I love it. Thank you, guy from Nebraska Furniture Mart.
The one purchase that I made in my life that like haunts me, and I think about it still to this day.
Was that stock?
No, not that. It was when we were growing up, I don't know about you, but like I never went clothes shopping. Like it was like pulling teeth to make me go clothes shopping.
It was like the back to school run.
You would do it like one time a year.
The back to school run.
When I went to college, it became like one time every 3 years. I hated clothes shopping.
Oh yeah.
He still does.
I still don't do it. And so one year I'm like, dude, I have no winter coat. I have no nothing. I need to go and get clothes. some kind of clothes. So I go to the Buckle. You know where this is going. You know where this is going. Yes. I go to the Buckle and the guy is like, man, yo, dude, you need this. And dude, you need this. And he's doing the whole throwing it over the...
You actually had to go to a dressing room to try on coats? They got you with the dressing room?
Hey, I hadn't gotten clothes in 3 years, bro. I wasn't trying on just coats.
He walked in and I go, let me set you up a dressing room. Let me set you up one.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure we have a reservation for you.
Anyways,
that's how they are at the Buckle.
I know they do it.
I'm like 20 years old. I don't realize at this point that the Buckle is like, just take your soul and try and sell you every piece of clothing in there. Mm-hmm. So anyways, me and Kim are just starting to date at this point, by the way. I end up buying a bunch of shit. I get home and Kim's like, let me see what you bought. I'm like, okay.
Kim is really good with her money, by the way.
Kim's the person that's like, she's bragging about her Walmart purchase. She's like, I got this for $5.
Yeah,
doesn't it look good?
Budget girl. Yeah.
Anyways, I pull out this coat that's got like a fur brim on it.
Oh yeah, the collar.
And she was just like, she held it up and she was like,
on the hood?
Yeah.
Is it on the hood?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was just like the most ridiculous looking jacket. She held this up and she goes, you're never going to wear this. And I because I had just purchased it, I go, I'm going to wear that all the time. What are you talking about? That's my winter coat now. She's like, you're never going to wear it. Never. And I never wore it. It sat in my closet. I would pull it out like once every 6 months to be like, maybe people will think this is cool now. And I'd put it on and somebody would be like, you look stupid as
like,
shit.
hey, dude, I loved you in 8 Mile, Kyle.
So I'd wear it for like, then I'd look at myself in the mirror and then I'd put it back in my closet. It traveled with me. Obviously during that time we were traveling all the time. I brought it with me because I was like,
you moved houses like 7 times.
Maybe at some point in my new life when I moved to this new area, there would be somebody that's like, bro, that's such a cool coat, and I can just start my life over and I can have the coat.
Oh, God.
Tell me this.
I can be the coat guy.
Do you still have it?
No,
Tell me you still have it.
Kim threw it away.
Oh.
I could probably find it, but like Kim loves that story because Kim was like, you remember when you bought that and I told you right away that you should. And also, at the time, I had no money. This coat was probably $200.
All the freedom to return it too. You could have easily returned it.
She was like, take it back. I said, no, I'm putting my foot down. This is my coat now.
I'm leading this family. Here's the sad part. Kyle also knows of a joke that was made around middle school times. That's truly why he never wore it.
What was it?
The winter coat. You don't wear a winter coat when you're in middle school.
That's true.
You're not cool.
That's true.
You're not cool.
You can't wear.
It's like wearing. Yeah. It's like bringing an umbrella when it's pouring down rain. No, you get rained on.
Bro, are you cold? Like who gets cold?
No, exactly.
Seriously?
It's like when you're
Can't
in
believe
college.
how prepared you are. You look so stupid.
Yeah. Jesus, what are you doing? Olivia, what's your purchase? You look back and you're like, I shouldn't have done that.
Hold on. What are the coats looking like right now? Luke's doing he's doing recon on buckle.com.
I'll just give you guys a hint. It was the fur brim on the hood, and then it also the whole rest of the pattern was like checkered pattern.
Oh, it was like a Hurley hat but a coat?
Yes. It was like a Hurley hat of a coat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was like Kim instantly saw it and was like, you're just never going to wear
like
that.
Argyle.
Yeah.
Hey, that was like in back then.
I know.
What year was this?
I was guilty. I had Argyle hats.
This was 2007.
Oh, yeah.
2008.
It was like crooked diagonal on the logo.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But I was still in the phase of like every dude that I was hanging out with, if you wore a new piece of clothing, people were like, dude, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. What are you trying to be right now? Are you trying to like wear new clothes?
I tried way harder back then than Kyle. I tried way harder. I liked going shopping. I bought like,
you did.
I had like an Express 1MX button up of every color and wore those out.
I don't even know what that is.
To the club that Kyle worked at.
Me?
It shouldn't at all. No, absolutely.
We just got done talking about Botox.
Yeah.
Tried so hard.
Is it any?
No surprise.
Not surprising that Jeff knew about that kind of stuff, and I don't know anything about Botox or Express shirts.
Brotox, as they call it.
Brotox.
To try to make it more like, hey guys, you should buy this.
Olivia, what's
Double their
yours?
sales.
Well, you got to have something that's embarrassing that you tried to just keep going.
Like an outfit?
Maybe. I don't have to.
Could be anything. Could be a bed.
I bought a mattress.
Jeff was pumped about his bed.
Gosh.
When's the last time you got sold something and you're like, dang it?
Can it be the business coaching?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
It can be the business coaching.
There wasn't a lot of return on investment from...
You're still locked in. How much longer you got?
Oh, I'm not locked in anymore.
It's over?
It ended in December.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Got out of that?
Yes.
You made it out alive.
I made it out alive. But man, when I buy stuff, I'm pretty calculated on what I like to buy. I don't like to shop. I'm not your typical like girl's girl. I don't even I put on a little face makeup today because my skin is like freaking out. And I dropped it on my Lulu shirt. And I was like, I don't even wear makeup and I'm spilling it all over myself. And now I'm going to go be on a podcast. Like, what's going on?
You're all good.
I'm all good. But I feel like I've always been pretty calculated in like what I buy. And I've never been, a big fashion girl. Like, definitely just buy Lululemon, and that's how it was through college, and that's how it was through like my mid-20s. And
Lululemon is like the brand where it's like, I know that this is going to fit well.
Yes, and
I don't have to worry about
that. You can go out and still look put together in athletic clothes. So I feel like I don't have a lot of regretful purchases. I could joke around and say my house sometimes.
Well, now that we're talking athleisure, I think there's a lot of people out here that obviously are invested and buy lots of athleisure clothing, right? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like other brands are catching up to Lululemon, or is Lululemon still the standard?
I think it depends on who you ask. I think the fitness influencer kind of clothing has definitely evolved. Lots of people like Alpha Elite, lots of people like Gymshark. I've tried a little bit of Gymshark, but I just feel like the quality isn't there. So when I feel like the quality isn't there, I kind of just jump back home to Lululemon.
Have you tried this new stuff, the Young LA?
No, I haven't.
Luke, you wear that stuff? Just Thatcher wears it?
These
are like the 18 to 24-year-olds, I'm assuming, something like that. Like,
yeah.
Thatcher probably looks cool.
I know, I don't doubt it. I'm just saying that like that's a brand that they're, super
Young
oversized
LA.
tees and like, tiny shorts.
Yes. Well, Inaka, I think, is one of them. Inaka, the Inaka brand. It's very like loud.
Inaka?
I believe it's spelled that way.
Show us, Luke.
Yeah.
Teach us where I turned 36 on Sunday.
You got to catch up.
I'm like I'm just a middle-aged man now.
You are.
I'm on the other side.
We got to keep you young.
I got one more year of
I'm
mid-30s.
going to get you a Young LA outfit. You look super dope.
What about like dark sport?
Oh yeah, dark sport is another one that I feel like is very similar to Inaka. I don't know. I'm kind of.
Is this all just like heavy on the influencer marketing then?
Yeah.
Okay. Like big bold patterns. Okay.
Big, bold, everything.
It's like taking
I do
80s
appreciate
rock band shirts and just trying
I appreciate how like the trashy rock band shirt is coming back. That's cool.
Well, now they just kind of
They
like
have some
took
cool
it and
stuff.
turned it
There's
into
some
something else.
Football brands.
Okay, there's the Houston Oilers, now known as whatever that is. So they just kind of like take other logos and then look, there's a Flintstone one?
Yeah, and put it on like gym clothes.
Okay.
It looks kind of like the shirt doesn't fit very well.
Space Jam.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to go back to like, you remember when shirts like fit like shit all the time? We're going to like make a brand around that shirt, around the Gildan.
Kyle's just talking
yes.
about the free shirts that they gave you at baseball games when you walked in.
Right.
And then like it just was like you don't get a different size. It's just XL.
It's just whatever you get.
And we all tried to rock them in middle school and it was just swallowing us. But now that's just in style.
Yeah, it is. It's a pump cover.
That's what they call it.
That's what they call it.
I used to just call that a hoodie.
Yeah, I know. Truly.
You just wear a hoodie.
Yeah.
But no. Just make it thinner and I don't know.
Baggier and yeah, it's crazy. But
I'm
I
out
feel
of
like I'm a
touch.
straight shooter for my athleisure. I'm like Lululemon, it's good. First Form is also doing really well.
Yeah, their gear's pretty nice.
Their gear's getting really
It just gets
good.
better and
I
better.
got their shorts on right now.
Same.
So do
I'm
you.
actually wearing their first ever pair they ever made.
You are.
The lifestyle shorts. Their pockets are pretty shallow in these. Like
Yeah.
you got to watch out for your keys falling out when you sit down. But these were the first ever pair they wore. I think this is like a 10-year-old pair of shorts.
My God, you should go shopping. Buckle.
Yeah.
Don't buy the coat.
The buckle.
Yeah, dude, they probably got better shorts there.
Yeah.
He's held up though, man.
I actually think you look sweet in Young LA. Some short shorts and a pump cover.
Let me get a couple of dangly cross
Some
earrings.
blazers.
A dangly cross earring.
Yeah.
And some
Like
some
one of 'em.
on God haircut, whatever they call that. Sorry, Luke.
You broke the third wall,
gotcha.
or whatever it's
Fourth
called.
wall.
Fourth wall. Luke,
The on
you're
God,
not supposed to be involved in this podcast.
the broccoli cut. Show me the broccoli cut. Hey, put that on the screen. Let them know what we're looking at right now. All right, we're the dudes. Like those look pretty par for the course.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like that looks just
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
the same brand we were just looking at.
It does.
But they got some button ups in the house. Look up there. There was like some
What
short
about those
sleeve button ups.
form-fitted shirts?
They're all over the spectrum.
They are all over the place.
Under Armour getting some love there. I mean, honestly, dude, I think the clothes look cool. I'm not even like hating. I mean, honestly, if you can rock
Those are
it.
pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I also love that like corduroy and like,
Yeah.
the textured materials are coming back, which
For
doesn't
sure.
really feel like it's, so I watched this whole documentary on, athleisure wear. It was actually on Netflix. It was like one of those explained shows, right? And it talked about how over time, humans will just always gravitate towards what's more comfortable, right? So like now we've had like stretchy jeans and like jeggings and all the leggings, and everything's been getting more and more and more and more comfortable. And then all this has been true. Like it's just held true that year after year after year, we're constantly wearing more and more comfortable clothing. But
Makes sense.
But then this like huge wrench just got thrown in recently, I feel like, because now it's like, man, I've never had more comfortable pants. Like they're so stretchy, they're so breathable. Shirts are so much more breathable. Everything's great. And then all of a sudden in the last couple of years, it's like people are wearing corduroy shirts. Like you're just wearing like grandma's couch on
Here
your
we
body.
go. Yeah.
And you're like, that's not comfortable at all. You're
Have you
sweating
tried?
profusely.
Are you sure they don't stretch?
Oh, they absolutely
Yeah, they're probably
stretch,
pretty
but
comfortable.
they're
So
not breathable
Yeah, I know.
fabrics. They're like wearing a sweater as a shirt.
Right.
And that's like what it's going on right now. Brian was wearing one on Sunday.
Yeah, from the Normal brand.
We love Normal brand.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, definitely a good brand. But I know, and those types of shirts.
Is it like
don't-
breathable? It's like
It is.
Okay.
He said it was, but I even have a couple of shirts that I've bought because I'm like, okay, this is gonna look good. It's gonna work. And then I'm like, wait, it's a sweater tank top. Like that doesn't work in the Midwest.
Right.
It works in California and probably
Yeah.
the East Coast, but it gets really hot. Like I don't want to wear sweater material in the summer, you know?
It doesn't make any. That's what I'm saying. I'm seeing all
It
this,
doesn't
and I'm
make
just like,
sense.
what are we doing? Why are we going back in time right now?
I know. But isn't that how
You
fashion
guys are not of high
goes?
style like myself.
Look up leisure suits.
Okay.
Look up leisure suits, Luke. This is a thing, right? This is like the matching top and bottom. Put that up on the screen. These are the leisure suits, dude. This is what's popular in the 70s, and they're coming back
What if you're not
I do feel like
leisuring?
the 70s is returning
fully.
in fashion.
Yeah, 50 years ago.
For sure. Look at that.
That's a thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and like that doesn't look breathable. That looks really sweaty.
It does.
That's like literally grandma's couch material
yeah,
as an outfit.
for sure.
What used
For
to get
sure.
what used to be like what was like for $3 at Goodwill in the 90s and,
it's
like
now
2000s is like now.
150.
Yeah, I wish
per
we'd
set.
have kept all those clothes.
I know.
Dear God. All right.
Regrets.
All right, as we digress, Lululemon's still the top when it comes to athleisure wear. I would agree.
For me. Yeah.
Most consistent.
Yeah. They're very consistent. And I think that's something that we look for in brands. You know, I want to come back and I want to be able to have the same experience over and over again. You know,
They started doing. You notice lately they actually started putting their names on things. Lulu's always been like the most minimalist brand,
Right.
right? Just the small, like
With the
tiny
little-
logo on the either like the tailbone or like the calf or whatever.
Yep.
And now they have like
Lululemon.
massive Lululemon on their shirts. You're like never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
So things are changing.
Yeah. You got to evolve.
I mean, in 3 years when I go to buy more clothes, I'll probably check it out.
I used to have to dress Kyle. That's a true story.
Oh, no.
Let's talk about the suit, Kyle. Let's talk about the first suit that you bought that wasn't from Goodwill. Remember that?
Yeah.
The Macy's suit?
Yeah.
Oh,
Still have that one. Still,
a great suit.
Still pull it out sometimes.
hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you look for in suits, though, right? You
Yeah.
don't want to have to buy a new one every single time you need one.
Yeah.
One time we're like,
You know what changed that in my life is all my buddies getting married. They're like, you're going to
Yeah.
be in the wedding, but you got to buy this suit. So now I have like 5 suits.
Yeah,
You know?
like different colors.
yeah,
or just
different
styles?
colors and stuff.
They're
yeah.
all
Yeah.
some shade of blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
tan.
Yeah,
blue,
Those are like-
black. I got a black
You got a
one
black
now.
one?
Yeah.
You went tan for the beach wedding. Someone give you a beach wedding?
Clay. It was blue. Blue
Okay.
for Dave.
Good for
Yeah.
him.
Okay.
Anyways, now we're talking about my random group of friends making for good podcast content.
Dude, no, the funniest thing that's ever happened as far as like Kyle buying clothes, this is just a really funny story, is we were sitting in the Overland Park store and we had to like have a suit for something, probably one of our banquets or something. And it was like we had like 2 weeks or 1 week to come up with it. And he's just like, dude, I tried to pull out the Goodwill suit
yeah.
and it's like it's on its last leg. It's gone. Like it's got a tear in it or something, right? Wasn't it the $8 one?
No, I lost weight.
Oh, that's what it
you
was.
did.
And I was like,
You looked like freaking
I was like, bro, I
Steve
can't,
Harvey
I
in it.
can't- Yeah, it's gone. Like it doesn't fit me anymore. And I'm not getting a suit I bought for $10 tailored.
No. Time
So-
for a new one.
So he goes to get a new suit, and I was like, listen, dude, just go to Macy's. They have this brand. It's like this, and they don't come in sizes. It's just like, it's not 34, 44, whatever. It's just
Like
XL,
Medium, large, yeah.
for suits, which is just like
Yeah.
unheard of, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, I put it on, and I was like, I knew Kyle and how he fits and stuff. And I was like, listen, go there, get this size. I called the lady at the store. I'm like, set this aside for him. He gets back. He's like, I hate you. I was like, what? He's like, it fit perfectly.
Yeah.
First time trying it on.
Yeah.
He's like, this is exactly
Game
it.
changed.
And it's $100. Like,
Yeah.
suits are crazy inexpensive if you.
For sure.
I always think it's crazy. Like, that's actually it, isn't it?
Yep.
Look
yeah,
at that.
Dude. That suit was $100. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Right? And I'm like, dude, you couldn't like.
Did everybody look
looks
at
tailored.
Jeff looking like he's on Jersey Shore over here?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. At least I didn't buy an 8 Mile coat
You
in
look,
that era.
you look like you should be hosting a late night TV show.
Why not?
Hey there,
Could
guys.
have been.
Now I'm hosting a podcast. Get fucked.
True. Here we are. Full circle.
True, full circle.
Let's just look at how tan I was. Can we go back to it again one more time?
We have to admire the tan.
Hey, man. Back in the day, I would just do anything that made me feel better. And at the time when I got tanner, I was like, I look better, clearly tan.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be tan then.
Yeah.
That was the thought process. I used to have a
Did
membership.
you go in the tanning? Okay.
Suntastic.
Okay. In the tanning bed.
I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll have a lot of regrets. And, maybe I'll get skin cancer one day. Hey, fun fact. You see that guy in the top middle?
Yes.
Taylor McQuarrie?
Yeah.
Used to work with us at Supplement Superstores. He's now co-owner of Titan Nutrition.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
That has nothing to do with the innovation. God bless you, Taylor. We love you. He
is nuts.
Yeah. He part owner of Titan Nutrition.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Olivia, let's talk about you,
Okay.
our guest, while we're here.
Yeah, let's switch that up.
You've created the Lift With Liv method.
Yes.
You've created an entire community of some strong women. And now, are there any men in Lift With Liv? That's a good question.
There are a couple. My fiance, Brian, is in Lift With Liv. My brother,
shout out Brian,
is in Lift With Liv. And a couple of the fiance's, boyfriends, husbands, some of the women do Lift With Liv as well. It's not exactly marketed to men yet. Mm-hmm. That might be something on the roadmap for later on, because I fully believe that, men and women don't have to lift differently. Men can benefit from hip thrusts just as much as women can benefit from like training a little bit of chest. So maybe one day we do get to evolve. But for now, it's definitely like directioned toward women, to empower them to step into the weight room.
And we've just watched you grow, and honestly, we're very proud of the progress that you've made.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been exciting to see you grow as as a person, as a business owner, and as a trainer. And so you still do one-on-one clients as well. Mm-hmm. But are we starting to transition fully to the community side of things?
Slowly.
Is that the way you would put it?
Slowly but surely, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. So ideally, one-on-one training and one-on-one nutrition coaching. So I did a lot of one-on-one training in the past with my group fitness kind of days and small group training and things like that. And then transition into just one-on-one nutrition coaching when I developed Lift With Liv, because I was like, I'm spending so much time on this one workout program for a group of people, and that's the same amount of time I would spend per one person. So like my hourly rate was just nothing. Yeah. Like I was making no money technically. So I was like, one-on-one training is not for me anymore, and let's just do one-on-one nutrition coaching. And I just have found throughout the couple of years that I've been doing this that one-on-one isn't my favorite thing to do. My heart is in the group, my heart is in the community, and there will always be one-on-one to some extent. We're actually going to be reworking one-on-one nutrition coaching for me, but my heart is definitely in group, in community.
Let's talk about. Sorry to interrupt you there, Kyle, but she's got all right. She's got a lot of experience in instructing, right? Group instruction. So like you were so not a stranger to group. Fitness.
Not a stranger at all.
How did you get a start with this? Because I know you've been in fitness a long time, but you actually were an instructor for years.
Yeah, for 10 years. Yeah. So when I got into group fitness, it started because of my mom. So I grew up watching my mom do group fitness.
Shout out Mrs. Derry.
Shout out Michelle Derry. She taught group fitness since I was like a kid. So we would go to childcare with her, and she would teach her step classes and her high-low kickboxing, like all of these classes. And eventually I started to kind of connect the dots. I remember going with her to Woodside off of the plaza, and that's where I kind of started to get interested in it when I was around 15, 16 years old. I started taking her classes. I started falling in love with the energy in the room. And then by the time I was like 19, 20, I was like, I want to do this. I want to get certified. I don't know what this looks like. I don't know. I loved being in front of people, and I love like giving back to people. And I just knew that I wanted to do that. So I just started to put the gas pedal down and got my first certification through Les Mills Body Pump when I was 20 years old.
It's a great first one to get done. Yeah.
And these
if anybody's not done Body Pump, it is an ass kicker. Do you love it?
Jeff's little booty gets literally, it got a little worn out last time we did it, didn't you?
Did you do Body Pump with me?
Yeah, come on, dude.
At Element?
No, we did it at
was it talking about when we did it for MS?
Yes.
Shaking our ass for MS? That was Zumba, dude.
No.
You did Body Pump?
Yes, we did Body Pump.
So when you do Body Pump, it's at Genesis.
No, it wasn't. It was at, this is terrible. Hotel? No, it wasn't a hotel. It was at that gym that shut down. It was in Lenexa.
Oh, Tribe.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
One Tribe. Yeah.
Yes.
One Tribe.
I was in a certification
Shout out
with the
Dawn.
owner of Dawn.
Dawn,
I
yep.
was in a certification process with Dawn.
She's wonderful. We love
Yeah.
Dawn.
Yeah. How funny.
And honestly, what's her face? One of her co-owners
Yeah.
is at Element now.
Okay.
What's her? I forgot her.
I can't remember which one that
But
is.
she's there now. And
Yeah.
when we did body pump, and they like, my favorite thing would be talking to the instructors whenever the guys would walk in, because I
Yeah.
fell victim to this as well.
You did.
You're like, oh, let's just slap the 25s on the sides. Like, this isn't going to be that hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hundreds of reps per muscle group per track.
It was a lot. Yeah.
It is a lot. And you
Total
know,
burner.
like the coolest thing I think about certifications with Les Mills is the process of getting certified. Like not everyone gets to be a Les Mills instructor. And I think that's one of the coolest things, and something that I've experienced in the fitness industry later on, is that like everybody can just walk in, you know, and just do fitness, but not everyone can be a Les Mills instructor, because you have to go through a whole weekend intensive, and then you have to teach practice classes, and then you have to film yourself teaching a whole entire class
I love that.
and submit it to be assessed and certified. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's
crazy.
it's important, right?
It's-
It
like
is.
it's standards. It's holding standards.
Very much so.
And to give them a huge shout out, Les Mills, you know, they've you know, their classes have been adopted by
Yeah.
gyms all over the world.
Yeah.
And they don't have to necessarily be a like Les Mills gym by any means. Right. And almost every single other group class is usually somewhat inspired by one of their classes before. Yeah. And they've been around forever. It's like, you know, you think about the things that have been popular now. So I'd love to even talk to your mom about just what are group classes like now than how they used to be, because the energy feels very similar, I would say. But it looks like, you know, the technology's obviously gotten way better. There's tons of more effects in the room, it seems like.
Oh yeah.
But like Les Mills, for example, like that was cool 30 years ago. And it was, body pump was there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
So you're doing this, you're doing body pump, and then where did you start? Where did you start doing it?
Yeah. So I started doing body pump at the Parkville YMCA, and I taught some at Woodside as well. And from there, I just started to get like certification after certification after certification. I got 5 different Les Mills certifications, and just started to take and teach way more classes, because at that point in time, I was in college and at UMKC. So I went to ORU for 1 year and came back to Kansas City to go to UMKC. And I was like, well, I want to do something on the side, you know, and I don't want to work at a restaurant. I don't want to work in retail. I'm going to teach group classes.
Yes, crew retail.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just kidding. So I was teaching like 10 to 12 to 15 classes a week alongside college. And it was just a freaking blast. Like some of my favorite memories come from teaching group fitness.
This is so much fun to talk about, because I know where this goes to from here.
Yeah.
You get done with school. And this is for all of our young listeners. This is such a fun story. Like, please lean into what Olivia has to say here, because this isn't for everybody, but she did exactly what we all were told we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
So you get through school, and then you have your dream, which is fitness and what you've been doing and you're super
Or
passionate
do you
about.
realize it's your dream at that point?
Oh, I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew.
But it wasn't safe. And your parents are like, hey, you should do what's safe. Right? And shout out to your parents. They're awesome.
Yes.
But everybody's, you know, wanting to make sure that you're doing something that's going to
course.
hopefully provide you some security.
Of course. Absolutely. You know, and I knew from the minute I stepped foot in the group fitness certification process, the minute I taught my first track, I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this. Like, this is it. But I knew group fitness, like teaching group fitness classes, you make like $25 a class. Like in order to create sustainability in finances, you're going to have to like put your body through hell. Because with those classes, you're doing them with everybody. You're not training people one-on-one, you know? So when I was graduating college, when I was graduating college, I actually interned with Dylan, Crown City trainer at Woodside, to potentially do personal training. And that is when I had a job offer from Cerner, and I was kind of in, you know, limbo, and my parents were basically like, you know, this is going to be the safe route. You know, fitness is very unpredictable. With Cerner, you'll have a job, you'll have a consistent paycheck, you'll have a 401k, you'll have benefits, health insurance, all of these things. So this will be...
And it's all the stuff that you don't even know you need at that age. You're
absolutely not.
You're like, I don't even think I need this.
Yeah.
Or, you know, but I should be making my life decisions based on them.
They're kind of
Exactly.
little things that you can like brag about though with your friends. You're like, yeah, I got a 401k.
Yeah.
I got some, health insurance, blah, blah, blah. That's what a lot of people do at that age.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, you're so young, you
don't know.
It's all just random,
Exactly. So I ended up going that route because what I found out more recently is that I'm very much a people pleaser. I'm a recovering people pleaser, and I'm the oldest child. And, I'm like, I have to do what my parents say to do. Like, I'm not going to go against the grain. But I realized very quickly it was the wrong decision. Very, very quickly. When I stepped foot on the first day at Cerner, I was like, oh no, I have made a mistake, but I'm a committed person. And I was like, I'm just going to give it a shot. And that shot was 5.5 years.
That's a good shot.
Sounds like you got some loyalty to
good
too.
shot.
It's maybe a little too much loyalty.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a journey in itself as well. Cause I had to put fitness on the back burner during my Cerner days, because I went directly into consulting, which put me in travel almost every week with Cerner.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Thanks. And this is at this time, are you and Brian dating?
Yeah,
So that's
we
probably
were.
tough on your personal life.
Yeah, it was tough on so many fronts. I mean, to give up something that was an outlet for me and brought me so much joy to do something that I just did not enjoy, which was, talking to physicians and nurses about their charting systems and how to set it up, and, getting yelled at for something that I didn't know. And, it was a challenging time of my life.
Yeah. That early to mid 20s times where you're trying to like ascend, or, it's like the most freedom you'll ever have to be able to work on a career. Right.
Right.
And, it can just be such a tough time because you just don't know what direction is the right direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just know how you feel.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this doesn't feel good.
What snapped you out of that? Because a lot of people,
oh my gosh,
once they get sucked into
normal,
that just becomes like, this is where I'm at. And then they wake up at like 45 and they're like, oh no, what have I been doing?
Yeah. Well, that was always in the back of my head. Always. When I started to lose who I was, I don't want to get emotional. I'm going to try not to get emotional. But when I really started to lose Olivia, and people, even Brian, one of my biggest supporters, was like, I don't even recognize you. Like, you are miserable. You are depressed.
Can I ask what that looks like for our listeners? Just so they can what did that look like for you?
Not wanting to get out of bed to go to work. Not wanting to work out, not wanting to be around people. It was very much reclusive. And that's not me.
It was sucking the life out of you, literally.
It was literally sucking the life out of me. And it was absolutely devastating, because I was always this person that, people would be like, you exude joy and you exude positivity and you're just always smiling and always happy. And I would put that front on when I got in front of people. That was always me. I didn't want
performing, if you will, at those moments.
Absolutely. Well, group fitness, if group fitness taught me anything, and maybe this is a good and bad thing, is it's not about me when I walk through the doors. These people are coming into my class. They're coming into my energy field, and they're also going through their own struggles, their own relationships, their own careers that they might also hate. So they're coming to this class to potentially escape that reality.
This is their outlet.
It's not about me. So for me to, project or dump on these people and not show up for them, I just had to do that. So I learned to do that in my real life. And what was behind the doors was not that.
It's really valuable, though. I mean, you learned a valuable skill, but there's a boundary there, I'm assuming.
Boundary.
Yeah.
There's a really hard boundary. But,
was there not a lot of people that, maybe haven't had a job like a Cerner, which Cerner is a, multi-billion-dollar company. It just got acquired by Oracle. Yep. Huge company.
Huge.
Just decided they're not going to headquarter in Kansas City.
Right.
You are literally, and I mean, this is everyone that works there is like a grain of sand on the beach, almost. What is when they sit you down, is there hey, we see you being a manager here, this is how much you're going to make, we see you growing into this, and the next year.
How much do they invest in you?
Do they invest in you?
No.
Or do you feel like you're just a cog?
I felt like I was a cog.
Yeah.
I was in my same position. Like I had more experience. So you started as a consultant where I went, very much like people facing, client facing role. And I started as a consultant, and you get more experience over time, right? You get better, your clients give you good feedback, you get better projects, you get bigger projects, but your pay doesn't increase ever, ever. And all I remember is that I had to fight for my promotion. I had to fight to get a $20,000 raise because they would bring people in from college higher than the people that had worked there for a couple of years. So if you weren't your own biggest advocate, nothing happened. If you never spoke up for yourself, nothing happened. And while I had an amazing manager at Cerner, there's only so much that person can do because there's so many.
They're a cog as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So it's never anything that my manager did personally, but it's just like the nature.
It's also like
people were wonderful. It's just the structure of the company.
The structure.
Really lend itself to it.
It's a publicly traded company, so
it is.
You have the problem of, our profitability is not good. Well, we can cut 20% of this department, and that'll increase our profitability.
Layoffs,
layoffs, and then it's then our earnings is going to look better. And
exactly.
So then we can hire back those 20%, but we'll do it with cheap college kids.
Absolutely. And that's what Cerner does.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, now Oracle, I don't know what they do anymore, but that is exactly what Cerner was doing, is like, we'll just, actually, if you quit because we're not going to pay you, we're just going to bring someone in cheaper, or we're just going to bring someone in off the streets that's, graduated from college. And that's exactly how their structure worked. So yeah, it was a toxic little environment for me, for sure. And so many others too. And I do feel for people that, don't ever realize like they're in that haze.
They might not have had that same passion as you. Just to be fair to most people, not a lot of people dedicate themselves to something as much as you personally had dedicated yourself to group fitness.
Yeah.
And
there's plenty of people that love the idea of a job where it's like they can just clerk in, clerk out, and they don't really have to think about it outside of that, Yeah,
it is true.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons to it all, but it wasn't obviously your calling. But I've been around people that are just like, everybody's like, find your passion. And it's like, I don't know what my passion is,
Yeah.
Like, I love dogs. I'm like, like start a non-for-profit. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways of, it's got to take a step in one direction or another, right?
Right.
You're not going to find out doing nothing. Right?
Exactly.
So you get out of, you're not, it's not like you can just quit Cerner, the next day. So when did you start to climb out of this hole, if you will?
Holy cow. It was hard. There was a lot of uncertainty in everything because this is around the time when COVID happened. And group fitness was my life. Like eventually once travel for me slowed down at Cerner, I was able to get back into group fitness classes. I got a couple new certifications that just felt like Olivia certifications, like intensity, very coaching. So I got to do that. So it kind of like offset how bad Cerner was for me. And then COVID happened and group fitness shut down. Mm-hmm. Everything shut down. And I went through a period of denial because group fitness was like my identity. Like I was Olivia who worked at Cerner, but I'm a group fitness instructor. Like this is what I do. I have to leave work at 4:30 because I have a class to teach at 5:30. Like this is my life. This is my identity. So when COVID happened and group fitness stopped, it felt like my identity was just gone. And I was like, I don't know what to do.
The one thing that, I think, if I'm getting like a little more too deep here, but it's like your self-worth was wrapped up in that, it seems like.
1000%. So I had to unravel that. And my mom as well, like my mom and I are very, very close. And that was our thing. Like we taught group fitness classes together. We did launches together. We studied together. We talked about the new certification, the new release together. So when that was just like ripped from both of us, it just felt so hard because it's like, okay, now where do I go from here? Because I know I still want to do fitness, but I have to make a living for myself. And then we were working from home. And then that also just catapulted into this.
That energy exchange you just weren't getting anymore.
None.
Yeah.
None. So that's kind of when the process started happening of maybe I could make this something. maybe I could work for myself. You know, I saw my dad grow up. He was an entrepreneur, still is. And I just loved that idea. I never wanted, my goal was never to work a job for someone else. I always had this like inkling in me that I would work for myself in some capacity, but I didn't know what that would look like. And I also did not know how hard that was going to be and like the trials and tribulations that would come with that. Right. So,
well, you grew up in basically working for yourself, because when you're running a group fitness class, there's nobody else. There's nobody in there that's like managing you. Like, hey, this is what you need to do.
The product was Les Mills, but you're the product because you're the one performing it.
Yeah. And you know, if you don't bring in people, then you don't get a prime spot on the schedule. So there's like some competition there. And it's so cool to look back on the past few days, just launching my new challenge with Lift With Liv. I've been looking back at my group fitness stuff and I'm like, holy cow. Like there used to be lines outside the door to my cycle class on Saturday mornings. Like, that was, I love that picture. That was one of our cycle classes and it was a party. It was a class at 8:30 a.m. on Saturdays. People would max it out. There would be no bikes left.
That's awesome.
If you got there later than 8:15.
What was the name of this? Let's give a shout out to that studio.
This was Parkville YMCA.
Okay.
Parkville YMCA.
And you know what's funny? I actually, you know, when we first opened up our location, we call Zona, but just in North Kansas City. We used to ask, you know, hey, what's the best gym? What's the best gym? What's the best gym? And everybody would just say the Parkville YMCA.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You don't get the YMCA very often as the response, but everybody just in unison. And I'm assuming that, did your mother teach there as well?
She did, not anymore.
But at times, I'm just saying, like, I'm assuming you guys are a big part of that with the energy you brought.
Yeah. I mean, it was the YMCA was the place to be for group fitness. Truly, it was. And it's definitely changed post-COVID. It's definitely different, but man, those were the times. Like those were so fun. So really like going from, you know, walking into the YMCA every Saturday morning to a line to get into the class that you were teaching was just such a crazy adrenaline rush. You know, it was so much fun for that to just stop. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So hard. So that was just like another dip in my growth. You know, from the Cerner realization to getting group fitness back to now group fitness being taken away. I'm like, well, this isn't predictable. Like I can't control any of this, you know? So that's where the ideas kind of started to spark for maybe I could do fitness full time as a business, but how? Where do I go from here? You know? And that's when I walked into OGKC. One of the first lifting gyms I've ever walked into. And that's kind of like where this story really started to evolve. And that was, I think, 2020, because OGKC stayed open with everything. And yeah, do you want me to go into that story?
Please do.
Okay.
Well, it's like, it's important because it's just, you're in a very like crossroads time, like we were talking about. It's like, you have your identity is in flux. You know, your mental health is in flux. You're like, what can I do? And so rather than sit on your rump and just say, I don't know, we'll just wait for something to come my way. You got up off your ass and said, all right, I'm going to go try something out. Yeah. So you walk into OGKC, which can probably be an intimidating experience if you're not used to it.
So you said
we love those guys over there.
Yeah. We do love them.
Yeah. You said that you're, you know, a chronic people pleaser. And obviously at this point you're shedding that. Was there any specific thing that caused you to shed that?
Or just, I guess, where the self-awareness came in, like an event maybe?
More self-awareness, just like more self-awareness. And I think the people-pleasing too, like the shedding of it has become more apparent in this like first full-time year in business since leaving Cerner. Yeah. And just realizing a couple of things in business where it's like, I can't people please. Yeah. Like there is a line, there is a boundary, and knowing that I won't be for everybody. And maybe I'll come into somebody's journey when they needed me for one thing, but maybe it's not the ultimate transformation. Maybe they find that with another person, with another coach. You know what I mean? I just have to like let those things go.
Not take them personal.
And not take them personal. And that's been very hard because I used to, you know, skipping a little bit ahead to a little bit of business. I lost sleep over my clients all the time.
Yeah,
all
one
the time.
person cancels, you're just like, what did I do?
Yeah. What did I do? Or they don't get the result that you're like, I know I can help you get this result. Or they're not doing that thing that you're like, okay, if you just do this, like it'll break you through. And I would lose sleep over that because I'm like, what's going on? Why can't I help them? You know, I'm a helper as much as I can help. That's what I'll try to do.
And like I said, your identity is tied in with this as well. So it's just like, how can you not take it personal?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's 50-50.
It is.
And it's hard to realize that, in the beginning.
It is. Well, you hear all the time, especially in the industry with business coaches and just coaches in general is, what I would hear from business coaches is that saying of if you lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And business coaches would go out on social media and say that that's lazy coaching. That's lazy coaching. And I was like, so every time a client would not drink, I would be like, I'm a lazy coach.
Yeah.
But I would do everything. I think these business coaches were talking about people who were just like, here's a plan, and they don't follow through and they don't dig deeper as to why. I'm the type of coach that's going to dig, ask those probing questions, look at your schedule, take a look at the whole picture.
Yeah. But really, were you cooking their food and putting a tracking device in their phone?
Nope.
And then,
Exactly.
Force feeding them,
zapping them if they went through a drive-through somewhere.
Exactly.
I mean, the business coaches are trying to tell you to take radical responsibility
Yes.
amongst everything you can possibly control.
Yes.
And it's way easier to turn someone down than to turn someone up, is what we like to say. And so it's like, you were obviously like, I'm assuming like the poster child for how to do it. And here's what we always say when we're coaching our team, it's like, whenever we're telling people like what to do, it's like the only people that are really like upset and taking it super personal are the ones that are actually trying the hardest. Mm-hmm. The people we were talking to weren't even paying attention. They're like, not me.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're taking it the most personal, but you were probably actually doing it the best job. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's helped with my people pleasing, where it's like, there's only so much that Olivia can do. You always have to meet me halfway. At least meet me. I'm going to meet you where you're at, but at least meet me where that is. Mm-hmm.
The big thing for us is we always try and put the ball in their court. Mm-hmm. Let them know like, hey, listen, this is your responsibility.
Right.
We can give you the information. I can motivate you. I can do everything I can on my end. But like at the end of the day, like I said, you're going to go home. You're going to make the decisions.
Yes.
I can write down line by line what to eat.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You got to eat it though.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. So.
And also,
we're only going to, and like my favorite is like, when you're trying to have these kind of, it's basically just, we're setting up expectations, right? And you're just like, hey, now you're telling me this is what you can do.
Yeah.
And I tell you, yes. Okay. So like, now it's on you,
right?
Like you're telling me this is what you can follow. I only want to do what you can tell me you follow.
Yeah.
And
it's also having the wherewithal to, when somebody comes in and they haven't done that, they're like, I just need to get back on it. It's like, no, you don't, because something about what we were talking about and what we wrote down is not working with your lifestyle. Exactly. Of course you can get back on it, but you're going to fall back off it. Yes. Let's find that trigger point that's making you fall off.
Yes.
If you don't do that, then
adjust accordingly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's coaching.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's coaching. And I think that's something that I'm very passionate about with one-on-one is that is exactly, I think, what lacks a lot in the industry is like everyone's just popping out these plans, like just handing them out. And it's like, but are you even looking at what this person's life is like?
Yeah.
Because most people can't go to the gym 6-7 days a week. Like that's already setting them up for success. And once those types of people miss one day,
it's all or nothing.
They're done.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's game over.
Now I'm not following the plan. So what's the point?
Exactly.
Right. It's not applicable to their lifestyle.
Exactly. You have to ask them what's feasible right now. What can you handle right now? What could push you a little bit, but what can you actually handle?
It's way easier to go from eating, 2 times a day to 3 times a day than to go from 2 to 6.
Yep.
And so people are like, you eat 6 times a day. It's like, well, they were eating twice a day. So you're telling them to change their life tomorrow.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. You can't do that. And most people, once again, most people are all or nothing. And that obviously hasn't worked because if it did work, they wouldn't be in the store. They wouldn't be reaching out for coaching. They wouldn't be in the place that they are. It didn't work. We got to do something different.
Chasing perfection's not the move. It took me a decade to even wake up to that thought.
All of us. All of us.
So you're in a spot where you're okay, like you're going into OGKC.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting ready to start at a lifting gym, if you will.
Yes.
And was that
You're about to be a total meathead. Let's go.
I was about to be a power lifter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Walked in there.
Was this one-on-one training, or was this you training to do powerlifting?
No, I was joking about the powerlifting. Definitely not. But
Just saying, you're strong.
I am strong. But good Lord. Yeah, there's OGKC. What year was that? 2021.
Boom.
Learning how to deadlift.
Shout out 50 Cent.
That's right.
If I Can't is the song.
Oh, yeah. If I can't. Yeah, they always played that, I think, at OGKC. Now we're hip thrusting like over a lot of weight these days. A lot of weight. But I walked into OGKC, and mind you, my background was group fitness. You know, when you're the group fitness instructor, you walk into the gym, everyone knows you. You walk up the stairs, you're walking in, you're putting your phone on the stereo. Like, you kind of just have your thing. You go do. When you walk into a lifting gym, no one knows you. You don't even know what to do. You know, I didn't know what half of the equipment was. Like, any of the equipment. The things I knew were from Body Pump, because from the moment I was 16 years old, Body Pump was how I lifted. I did not lift in the gym. So this is part of my story that I'm so passionate about, because once you get over your fear of lifting in the gym, it changes everything, you know? So I had to go through these like trial and errors of, I remember the first day, let's back up to that. I walked in with Brian. We were waiting on my parents because they were going to meet us there. And I walked in with Brian, and Brian's like, all right, see you later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I do? So I walked into the bathroom. I went into the stall because there were a couple of girls in the bathroom, and I cried. I was so overwhelmed. I had no idea where to go. No one showed me the gym. Brian didn't even show me the gym. He just went right into his workout. And I texted my mom, and I was like, I'm in the bathroom. I'm crying. I'm very overwhelmed. And she's like, we're almost there. And she had with her a program that she had printed off. And, you know, we just kind of went through that. And I just started to progress really quickly and get stronger really quickly and get toned, more toned really quickly. And that's when we started to do 75 hard for the first time through COVID with my whole family. And eventually I started adding macros into the mix of lifting. It took me, I was one of the final people in my family to track macros. I was very much against it. I didn't want to do it. I thought it was too time consuming, too tedious. I knew nutrition. Like, I had my holistic health coaching nutrition certification already. Like, I knew what to do. And I did isogenics protein shakes. I don't know if you guys are familiar
Oh,
with.
come
Very
on.
familiar.
Okay.
Come on now.
That New Zealand grass-fed way.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta have it, that New Zealand grass-fed way, Olivia.
It's so specific. I know. Exactly. So, so that's when like things just really started to move. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I want to coach people on how to do this eventually. But
I think, you know, you talk about overcoming your fear, but also, you know, just being humble.
Humility, I was going to say.
Yeah,
Humility.
because it's, you know, a lot of people, when they become, you know, as a group fitness instructor, you basically got into expert, right?
Yeah.
So you did it enough, you did enough hours of it to be, you know, an expert at it. And, you know, group fitness and lifting, you know, in a traditional like bodybuilding type gym is not the exact same thing, but it's in the same category. It's still fitness, right?
Yeah.
And you're an expert at fitness,
Yeah.
right? So it can be hard, you know, to have the humility to go to this other avenue of fitness and be like, I completely don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm going to start from scratch because I know it's important for my overall growth and, you know, where I see myself in the future.
yeah,
Which I think, you know, fitness is such an ego-driven thing in general that the more people that would do that, the more crossover into different types of training that people get, I think the better. That's why I love the new, you know,
hybrid athlete,
the new
trend.
trend of like hybrid athlete, people that are running a lot and then they're also really strong.
Yeah.
I think, you know, that's great because it's showing that people have the humility to do both, you know.
It gives them compassion for other people's practices and so forth.
absolutely. And we need that.
agree.
You know, like you can do
it's one of the best trends the industry has seen in a long time, in my opinion. Yeah,
absolutely. You
forces
don't have to
people
choose.
force people to see things through.
You're telling me just lifting weights, you know, with 2-minute rest periods in between and never doing cardio is not super healthy?
I mean, you walk.
You walk.
Hey, you know,
walking's not. I walk all the time.
I neglected cardio for a good chunk of my life.
The first 10 years of
I have no
us
room
working
to
at
talk.
S2 was like, if you bodybuild, it's like you walk on an incline.
Yeah.
That's your cardio.
That's what you do.
And you
Don't
hold
you
on
dare.
to it just like you're trying not to fall off it.
Yeah.
You do the core strength.
Amazing. Yeah,
But that
man.
is, you know, that's when I realized that my pendulum swung way too far to the lifting side. Cause you know, like going from group fitness, I mean, my conditioning, like I could run circles around people because you're talking and projecting.
Oh yeah.
It's impressive to watch any instructor do it.
Working out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I just went back to one of my certification videos for the first cycle certification that I did. I was like, whoa, your girl was breathless. And you could hear it on the mic. You're like, okay, all right. But when I transitioned into lifting and walking, because that's what you do. That's what it was. It's you lift and you walk and you're going to be super healthy. And while I was very strong and, you know, leaning out, I tried to do like a group fitness class again, and I got it handed to me like big time. And that was an eye opener for me because I was like, well, here we go. Like my pendulum was like group fitness, and then my pendulum was like lifting and walking, and I needed to find a
The
middle
balance.
ground.
Yeah.
Because truly, like cardio is good for your cardiovascular system. Like I want to be able to move quickly, be agile, be strong, not hurt myself, but also be able to keep up if I want to go take an F45 class on a whim, or, you know, go take a body pump class on a whim. Like I want to do that. I want to feel good.
I think, you know, COVID, for a lot of people, I think it made people go, ooh, I should be in like okay cardio shape too.
Yeah.
Like I lift a lot, but you know, I'm not super, you know, my VO2 max isn't great. I should
Right.
probably have like a good balance of both.
Right.
Because it seemed like that's when I kind of saw a lot of people start getting more into
cardiovascular
health.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you guys, so speaking of group fitness, you decide, you know, you're at OGKC, you're getting more into lifting. You said you're coming back to group fitness. When did that start to happen?
Coming back to group fitness.
Yeah, as in like, well, I guess when you started your community, because you know
Yeah.
we haven't transitioned yet from just being like, hey, I found lifting, I found love for this, I found joy in this, but
Right.
that pendulum had swung too far over. So what's
Yeah.
our next step?
Yeah. So next step was nutrition coaching, because I was just like, I don't know what to do in the lifting side of things, the training side. I don't know where I want to go with this. And I discovered macros, and I had already had my holistic health coaching certification, nutrition wise. And I was like, okay, I am obsessed with macros. This has changed the way I looked at food. This has changed my relationship with food. And I sought after a macronutrition certification, like an actual coaching certification to understand how to coach macros and how to do them from like different levels of, you know, people who have PCOS, hypothyroidism, diabetes, all of those things. So that was my next step. And then that's when I started to do one-on-one nutrition coaching only. And then it was a year later from there, because I believe that was 2021 when I started to do the macronutrition thing, the one-on-one nutrition coaching, things like that. In 2022, a whole year of that is when I was like, okay, something's missing. Something's missing. This isn't filling my cup like I thought it would at all. You know, working one-on-one with people, there's only so many people you can work one-on-one with because of your time, you know, and I was missing a community aspect of things. So that's when I started to just be like, okay, what do I do? What can I create? And where do I go from here? And I remember it was, I believe it was July 2022. And I just like had this idea, and I was like, okay, cool. I'll do a 4-week fitness and nutrition accountability challenge. And I'm the type of person, this is a good thing and a bad thing. I need to be better at planning, but I definitely act on a whim. I have an idea and I just do it. I'm like, okay, great. This is my idea and I'm just going to implement and do it. So I put myself on the wire, and it was a Monday It was a Monday morning. I went onto my Instagram stories and I was like, I am launching something on Friday, this Friday. 5 days from now, I'm launching something. And I got a couple messages and they're like, oh, we're so excited. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I was like, that's a great question.
I don't know.
I do not have any idea, but I'm going to do something. So it took me that whole week and I was like 4-week fitness and nutrition accountability challenge. And I very much like aesthetic brand type stuff. And I didn't know what to call it. I remember driving down to the Lake of the Ozarks on Thursday night. Friday morning was the announcement. Thursday night, Brian and I was like writing all these different words out. Fitness, like lift, blah, 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 blah. And we came up with Lift With Liv. And I was like, oh my God. And I got to the lake house and I believe my aunt was there. My mom was there. My dad was there. It was like 10 p.m. at night. And I was like, it's called Lift With Liv. And we pulled up a brand photo and plastered Lift With Liv over the top of it. And it was midnight. I was writing out the caption for like now announcing a 4-week fitness and nutrition accountability challenge, Lift With Liv. And it was just like,
I mean, it looks
it was
great.
a little
Yeah, I was
older.
about to say, it looks great.
This looks great.
This was a little bit newer, but that's okay. This was a little bit newer when we were a little bit more in it. But
Had some more experience.
yeah. So it was just like overnight, but I knew that I had to get community together. I had to get women together to do something. And it was 2022. Like from what I remember, not a lot of people were launching fitness apps, launching challenges like this. And maybe that was me just being like delusional and naive and not really looking outside of my blinders. But I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And when I launched it, people were like, this is it. This is it.
Yeah. I feel like during that time, there was more of the Instagram hawking. Like,
Was this is it, or is it this is it? Which one was it?
It was, this is it. Like,
Gotcha. Okay.
well, I remember one of my, my actual, I would say she was somewhat of a mentor to me early on. She was the creator of the macronutrition certification. She's always been just absolutely amazing to me and supportive of me. And when Lift With Liv was launched, she messaged me and she's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And she actually just messaged me a couple of weeks ago and she's like, you've been on our radar since day one. Like we knew you were going to do things and it's only just the beginning. But she messaged me initially and was like, yeah, this is it. Like, I don't want to just be a one-on-one macronutrition coach. I want to, that doesn't make as
Let's
big
impact
of
more
an,
lives. Yeah.
let's impact.
You are in a situation now where you can impact even more people. You guys just had a really successful event with Lift With Liv. Let's talk about that. And shout out to the gym that hosted you because they did a really great job too, right?
Yeah. Athlete Factory.
Athlete Factory up in Liberty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. How many women came out to that?
About 145, 150 women.
Man, come a long way since the cycle class at in Parkville YMCA.
Yeah. It was quite a thing. You know, I've been wanting to do an event like this for a while. And when announcing it, I didn't know how it was going to go. You know, I'm like, okay, people are going to come. Hopefully people show up.
Yeah.
That's always a fear. No matter
Anytime you
how
throw a party, you just
successful.
wonder people have come. And
Oh my gosh.
Always.
Always. And I believe we sold the event out in 6 days because I was starting to get very nervous if people were going to fit. Mm-hmm. Very nervous. So we sold out at about 150. And then I just was like, you know what, everyone that's on the wait list, let's add the wait list in. So we ended up with 185 registered. And then that many showed up. So quite a success.
very
To say the least. And so, you just had your best month ever.
Yeah.
As far as Lift With Liv is concerned, which is exciting for you. And I think it's just, I'm so glad that we took the time to go through just all of these steps that you've been through.
Yeah.
So people can just see that if they just started knowing Olivia Derry over the last 6 months to a year, it's like everybody's thinking you're just some kind of overnight success.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun to hear about, just the classes, the certifications you went through. And I got to give you a lot of props because of you investing in yourself as far as the amount of education you've paid for yourself.
Yeah.
These are things you have to pay for. And there's no guarantees that you get anything out of it. And, you said you got burned by a business coach, which is, par for the course. Like these things can happen. Mm-hmm. But if you didn't have such great success from investing in yourself with previous certifications and education opportunities, you wouldn't be where you're at, And so whether it be the macro coaching certification or any of the Les Mills certifications, it's just impressive how much you've invested in the education of yourself. And all these people just shoot from the hip, with coaching or macro coaching. It's very, very popular in the contest prep diets for bodybuilding. Someone does a show and they're like, I can start taking on clients.
Yeah.
And it's, it's more power to them. Everybody's figuring it out as they go. You know what I mean? I'm not throwing shade, but I'd love that you were like, hey, someone already here made a system. Someone's already created this system. I just need to follow it.
Yeah.
And so in order to be a really great coach, I always try to tell people that you also have to be a really good follower, have to be a really good student first.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, you practice what you preach and being a good student first.
Yeah. And that's also too, like, eventually that's evolved, right? Like eventually you go through a certification and there's things that you put your Olivia twist on. Like, actually, I want to do this a little bit differently, and it works out really well for the clients. But it's always about the client. Like for me, it really is always about the client. So how can I make their experience the best? If that's in Lift With Liv, if that's in nutrition coaching, and in order to make it the best, I have to continue to get educated on trends and like what's coming up and how to get better, because I can't. Old ways, what is it? Old dogs.
Can't teach an old dog new
tricks.
tricks.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks. Like, you just have to evolve.
Mm-hmm. And I was actually going to bring up that exact line because when Kyle was talking earlier about how you were an expert at group fitness, you were very dangerously in this spot where it'd be so understandable for you to just say, I'm going to wait for group fitness to come back. I'm going to wait for these gyms to open. I'm just going to stay in my niche. This is what I know. This is my identity.
Right.
And not evolve, not go through that discomfort, not get uncomfortable at all, you know? And I was about to say, like, you were this close to becoming an old dog that couldn't be taught new tricks. You were this close.
I was very close.
And it's just fun to go full circle with, like, it was a pivotal moment for you walking into OGKC. And
it was.
As far as the tears are concerned, like, that's
where the humility
those
comes
are tears,
in.
joy. I mean, dude, absolutely. Like, we laugh about it now, but those were some of the toughest decisions you've ever made. Absolutely. And there should never be, shoved under the rug or whatever. I mean, these are extremely pivotal moments where you had humility where you didn't have to.
Yeah. Well, I always thought like I would just be group fitness forever. And I wanted to work my way up the Les Mills chain. That was my goal. I wanted to be a national presenter for them. That was my goal. I applied when I was 20, to be a national 21, probably 21.
And for those
like
that aren't familiar with Les Mills, what is a presenter?
It means you get to be on their choreographed DVDs that they send out to all instructors. Mm-hmm. You get to go to New Zealand and
the legitimate you are the example.
You are the example.
Yeah.
And that was always like on my radar. I was like, I'm going to be that because I do have a lot of humility. I am really good in front of people. I really do love presenting and teaching and coaching and empowering in front of groups. So I thought that was my end game.
Yeah. When I watched you do,
it's definitely not
just like video clips of this last event that you did last month. I'm like, I didn't know you had that in you.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no idea that you had such a gift with large groups like that.
Yeah.
Was that just like what you've done in the past? Was that on steroids where you're like, I'm talking to 100. I mean, you've never talked to so many people at once, have you?
No, I think my biggest group fitness class is maxed out at like 65 people.
Yeah. So, I mean, to have 140, 150 people, I mean, that must've been, what a rush.
Yeah, it is a rush.
I laughed. I think I messaged you or something like a day or two later, and I was like, "Hey, let me know when you get up from like, the emotional come down of this, the dopamine dump that happened after that."
It was a dopamine dump. I was not okay. But yeah, I just like, the cool thing is I've had coaches who I'm friends with who are like, how do you, and even Eve, who is the creator of the Macro Mentorship, she's always complimented my on camera abilities on my stories and has put me as this example for the other coaches. And I'm like, please stop. Like, please stop. But I've had to talk in front of a camera since Les Mills.
Yeah.
I had to present multiple certifications in front of people at training weekends, camera for the actual approval process. I went through many advanced trainings as well, which was even more intense. So I feel like all of that has just really prepared me. But I do think it is one of my superpowers. I'd like to say that I don't know. It just really comes naturally. My mom's amazing at it.
I was about to say you can't, your mom growing up and getting to watch her.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's just how that goes.
Yeah.
That's
Just
how
normal.
Yeah. The example that she
Talk
set
about
for
the
that.
like, I mean, dude,
I'd love to see Jeff in another Les Mills class.
I'd kill
I
it,
would
dude.
too.
Hey, dude, count me in. I'm down. I'm not above it.
Yeah. Gotta get that booty going.
We got to give props to your parents both, because it's like you are literally a hybrid of them, group fitness and entrepreneur at the same time.
Yeah.
And so like
truly,
you got both of their gifts. You know what I mean? How cool.
Yeah.
And it must be fun for them to watch you grow as well. And I know that they're super proud of you. And from the conversations I've had with them, they're very proud of you.
Yeah.
Was there any, for any kids that might be listening to this, was there any tough conversations you had to have with your parents when you were quitting Cerner? Were they just like, cool?
Oh, it was multiple conversations because like I said, I was very much an approval person. I wanted approval. I wanted them to say, do it.
Good. Yeah.
Go. Yeah. And it was kind of like, does it feel right for you? Do you
tell me what to do here?
I know. I was like, someone just tell me to do it, because I'll do it if someone tells me. And thank God, like that I did it. I finally did it after multiple conversations, after lots of tears. I will say, like, I got to shout out Brian, because truly he is the rock behind everything. Like my parents are definitely, but Brian sees the highs, he sees the lows, he helps me, he supports me, he believed in me from day one. He was the one that was like, just do it. We're going to be fine. Mm-hmm. Everything's going to be fine. And I was like, but I need the approval from my parents. So I feel like I'm
growth,
just, so much growth, but I'm so thankful. I feel like nothing stretches you faster and farther than owning your own business and building a brand.
Did you see that post I made yesterday about the team?
Yes. Yes.
I was like, that's everybody when they get started.
It is.
Let my team get back to you. And it's like, let me just turn around and open up my email and start getting back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have to wear so many hats. You are the marketer. You're the content person.
Let's shout out Brian, the cameraman, too, by the way.
Honestly, thank goodness he's picked that up.
He's the cameraman.
Thank goodness, because he's learned all of the editing software, so I don't have to do any of that. And he actually really has a great eye for visuals. So I've been able to let off, and I actually just hired someone into my business as well to help me with launches and just with things that I'm not the best at.
Some back end stuff.
Yeah, to keep me kind of like, okay, here's where we're going next. Here's where we're going next with copy and things like that, where you're doing all of that initially for a very long time, because I've been, just over a year, a little bit over a year full time since leaving Cerner. And you are everything for a very long time until you can finally start to delegate and let things off.
You can, for all of those listening, you can recognize when your product is starting to suffer because you're doing everything. And that's when you have that line that you can't cross, where it's like, I can't let my product suffer.
Right.
I need to hire this out now because I can't do it all.
Right.
It's
and
awesome.
the time and the time, you do get some time back, and then you get to actually be good at what you're good at.
Yeah. And then you get to groom your skills even more so,
which has been what I've been wanting to do. I'm like, I just want to be better at X, Y, Z, so having someone in the back end of my business has helped a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Although it has been, when you're type A and you have things how you want them, like, this is how I want this to look, this is how I want this to sound, because you've done it for so long, it's hard to let off the reins and let someone else in, because you're like, but I would have done that a little bit differently.
Yeah. We just didn't let anybody take transactions in our store for the first year. We'd hire people and we'd make them sit in the back of the store. Yeah. We're like, don't talk to me.
The amount of thousands of dollars we spent for people to clean shakers out and restock the shelves, because we just didn't let anybody else talk to customers. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to believe that other people will care about what you care about as much as you care about it. And the truth is, they won't.
They won't.
And that's okay. That's why they don't have the front facing, job that you have. So
exactly.
All the congratulations we could possibly give to you. We're so proud of how much you've grown. And it's just excited for you, for what's coming, and we want, more and more people in our community like you, Olivia. We really appreciate how you do things and the humility you bring to it.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been fun. It has been fun. It's a wild journey, I tell you what.
If it wasn't for those downs, though, these ups wouldn't feel so fun. You know,
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's just part of it. I think I've had to really recognize that and be okay with that.
Having that attitude is everything, though. Noting that it's got to be a part of it. You know, nothing's ever going to be perfect, or else you're not learning anything.
Right. And you do learn a lot, whether you want to or not, whether you want to go through it or not.
Let's talk about trends for a second on group fitness, because you brought up trends. You know, there's been some, like I said, some technological advances. You know, I've seen Les Mills classes go down as far as popularity, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not that anything against Les Mills. It's that there's been an innovation, right? We've got the most popular fitness franchise in the country in Orange Theory.
Yeah.
We've got one that's trying really hard to be just like Orange Theory and F45. And I wouldn't say they're trying to be just like Orange Theory, but they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
But they're trying to be a very popular franchise as well, and it has been. So, what do you see about F45 or Orange Theory that you like, and what do you not like?
Oh gosh, so I love the energy of those classes. I think they're amazing. I think the environment is a really good one, and people love to work hard in those classes. And the music is loud, and you don't have people like complaining about the volume of the music there, because you kind of go into these more niche fitness places, and they can do that, you know, whereas a Parkville YMCA, like if the music's too loud, you get a complaint, you know? So I think the energy in these classes are really good, and it gets people moving. What you want me to say what I don't necessarily
I mean,
agree with
it's just a professional opinion.
Yeah. My professional opinion is that to teach at these gyms, there's not a whole lot on the line. F45, you don't teach the class. I say that with, you know, a lot of respect for the trainers that teach at F45, but you're kind of just a cheerleader. You know, you're not in front of the class. You're not coming up with the workouts. You're not, you're barely even demoing them, because they have
the video monitors
on screens. Yeah. So really you're just kind of like walking around and cheering everybody on, which people need.
That's a great franchise model.
It is a good franchise model
because it's scalable, right?
It's scalable, and you can get people in that. You can get anyone in there to teach the class, you know?
Mm-hmm. But from like what you respect about, you know, instructors, it's just not requiring a lot, you're saying?
No, it's not. And I think that is because I was held to a very high standard with Les Mills, and, you know, to scale anything, I hate to say this too, but I do think like the brand of Les Mills has dropped a little bit to start to, like, you know, back in the day, oops, I keep hitting that. Back in the day, not
everyone does it.
Okay.
No big deal.
Back in the day, a lot of people, you know, there were people that did not pass their videos.
Right.
They did not pass. Mm-hmm. You're off tempo, you don't pass. You're not loud enough, you don't pass, you know? But eventually, like, people started to pass, and they started to let more people through, but it's more revenue for them.
Right.
More people buying releases.
Always that long-term thought of like, are we devaluing the brand by allowing this?
Yeah.
And are we, you know, now everybody's getting past, so now it's, you know, you're taking away from its exclusivity.
Yeah. Yeah.
As well as just the, like you're saying, like the standard.
Yeah.
Has gotten lower.
Yeah. So when you go into these classes at, you know, Orange Theory and F45, I mean, I just don't expect I expect to get a really good workout, but I don't exactly expect to be poured into like I would have, you know, 5 years ago in a Les Mills group fitness class.
Sure. We've had some Orange Theory people on the podcast, and they've been really great. Mm-hmm. And I will say the one thing that they said that really impressed me was they give people mic time. They have them come in and actually, you know, do a class for the other instructors.
Nice.
And it's like before they can ever be talked, before that instructor can ever be in front of a class.
Yeah, that's good.
They have to pass the internal class. And like, he's like, man, so many don't make it past that.
Yeah.
So many don't.
It's hard. Mm-hmm. You know, teaching a group fitness class. Like,
it's not you're not saying no forever. It's just go back to the drawing board and work on your craft.
And practice.
Yeah.
Practice, you know?
If you get something on your first try, are you really going to evaluate?
If I could yell at people while they're working out, I feel like I could do that.
He does it for free right now.
Yeah, but I doing the Les Mills stuff where you're actually working out and like going through it.
And you are
that's a different deal.
That's tough. You're leading the choreography through everything too. It's just crazy.
I am a great dancer, so I do have a chance. I would really good dancing.
All right.
You know this, Jeff.
It's true.
You knew it.
When he pulls it out.
This for a long time.
When he pulls it out, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Hey,
I pop, lock, and drop it.
So we got some new fitness trends and in group fitness. You're a group fitness expert. Tell us what you think about this one. This is the new kangaroo feet fitness classes. Love the
Oh
playlist.
my gosh.
Sweetie, tap in.
Oh, anything. Look at them go into the circle.
I mean, it doesn't look easy.
No, it doesn't. And I think those things can like fire up your legs.
So
They've got
I used to have
Or is
when I
Lift
was
with
a
Liv
kid.
coming out with a kangaroo jumping method?
Yes, that's on our roadmap.
I had these things as a kid where you'd strap it to your foot and it had like a
Yeah.
plastic around it.
Yeah.
And it had bungees that connected
They
to
were called moon shoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Moon shoes. I was always like too chubby as a kid. They just slammed to the ground.
Yeah.
Couldn't
You're
even
just like
spring.
walking.
The springs just weren't like stiff enough.
They
I
didn't
just go straight to
spring.
the ground. I'm just like slapping the concrete with my feet. It was terrible.
Oh my God.
Way too big for moon shoes.
Gosh.
The lifespan on those for me was very short. It was like I had them for like a week, and then I probably tried to jump off something that I shouldn't have broken.
He's getting it.
This is called Fly Dance Fitness, Olivia.
Fly dance fitness. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it looks like my college dorm parties.
My gosh. At Oral Roberts?
No, at UMKC, but yeah. Or at we got crazy too. But
Yeah. So
honestly, if it's all earlies,
it's not Zumba, but it's Fly Dance Fitness. So do you feel like this is better for exercise than Zumba?
I feel like it's all the same.
Okay.
I feel like it's all the same. People are just coming up with their own. This looks like a choreographed dance class.
Do they all
But-
just come in knowing the choreography? Like, how does this all get so harmonious?
That's a good question.
That guy
That guy was freestyling right there, though.
that guy looks like me at every high school dance I went to. I was just getting it.
Same size shorts, too. All right, this is fly high bungee. Where does like I guess like what's the biggest benefit you'd get from this
I don't see one.
besides a lot of laughs?
Dude, let's be honest.
I mean,
it
that
looks
looks fun. I mean, that looks really
Fun.
fun.
so fun.
Yes, it looks fun, but truly, like you'd probably be better off lifting weights.
So you're literally just riding a resistance band.
It looks like it. Honestly, doesn't that look like fun though?
The most fun.
Flying through the air. 3
Uh,
sets of wee.
I think
Someone say that.
Yeah. What is it
Three
called?
sets. That's the best comment. 3 sets of wee.
Oh my gosh. It looks like they do something with dumbbells. Maybe.
I don't know why, but it looks like something my kids would do.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the classes are filling up. It's obviously popular.
But let's be honest, nothing's better than a zip line.
True.
A zip line's fun.
That
Love
is
a zip
true.
line.
We are a Kansas City-based podcast as of now, and we like to celebrate the greatest thing that we have in this town besides Patrick Mahomes, and that is barbecue.
Oh
And
yes.
so at the end of every one of
Oh,
our
no.
podcasts, we have to ask if it's cheat meal and it's saying, hey, I'm saying screw it. Or let's say some family coming in town or something. What's the number one spot you got to take people to?
For barbecue.
We can go other cheat meals and stuff too, but
Yeah,
let's go
yeah.
barbecue first.
You know, it's funny because I knew this question was coming, and Brian and I talked about this, and he's like, this is going to be funny what you say because you don't like barbecue.
We've actually run into a lot of people like
that are
that.
like, I'm a huge fan.
It actually like gives me a lot of heartburn. To be honest, it actually hurts.
Is it the meat or the sauce?
I think it's a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
But truly, like I don't venture to barbecue, but I do like the Z-Man from Joe's.
Yeah. Z-Man's is
It's a
good.
very, very solid
Probably the
choice.
most popular
do.
sandwich in Kansas City. It is
Yeah.
delicious.
Yes.
Delicious.
But now if you're saying, hey, we're celebrating and you've done
Yeah.
really well and you got some room in your macros, where are we going?
Yeah.
Lots of
Oh,
room.
Depends on
you
the
haven't eaten
food.
anything all day.
Sometimes I'll be honest, I get into work mode. I'm just like my dad in this, and I forget to eat. I'm like, oh no, now I'm starved and I'm gonna like raid everything. But gosh, lately I really like going to Prime Social. Really
Sushi?
like Prime Social.
the
Their
sushi?
yeah, and their espresso martinis and their fries.
Wow, what kind of fries they got?
Yeah, their truffle fries.
Never been.
Let's
yeah.
go.
Oh,
I
you've
do-
never been to Prime
So
Social?
fries
It's
and sushi is a
vibe.
combo?
Yeah. Fries, sushi, espresso martini. It is great.
Yeah.
Easy.
It is great.
3 things you didn't think went together, and now
I'm
they do.
surprised
They
do.
used to also in the one in Overland Park, they had chicken wings.
Oh.
Say what? There was
So
a
it's a
Prime Social in
move.
Overland Park?
Yeah. or Prime Sushi.
Oh, Prime Sushi.
Sushi, which is I think
Yeah.
it was owned by the same people.
Was it? Oh, probably because the
I think
sushi's
so.
really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I'm a foodie. I love food. I
Yeah.
think that's one thing that always surprises people because they think like, oh, you're a nutrition coach. You just have to eat. This is one thing that I just like will always hammer home on Instagram is that I eat everything. Like I don't hold back. Definitely in moderation, I guess in moderation.
Yeah, you're just not. There's no such thing.
I'm not the bodybuilder girl.
Good and bad is relative.
Correct. Very much so. And you're not going to catch me with like chicken, broccoli, and rice during the week. That's just not me. But I will always be down for food, restaurants, anywhere.
Do you have another favorite restaurant you want to shout out?
Stock Hill. Pretty good.
We love Stock Hill.
Yeah.
Their fries are amazing.
Their fries are amazing. I love a good French fry, and their steak is awesome too.
They don't
And
miss
their
out.
espresso martinis. So here we go again.
They don't miss. They don't miss.
Last
They
time I was
don't
at
miss.
Stock Hill, there was a guy walking around, and this was for me and my wife's
Oh,
anniversary.
this is hilarious.
And he was like, would you guys like fresh truffles with your dinner? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's go.
celebrating.
We're
Yeah,
celebrating.
yeah.
Go ahead
Throw it
and
on
just-
there like some cracked pepper.
All they
Let's
do-
go.
That's what they do. They just shave it off.
They do.
They just shave it like grating some cheese.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Parmesan at a Italian
And,
restaurant.
I might have been drinking a little bit of drinks. Yeah, go ahead. Throw it on there. And then I got my bill, and I was like, oh, my God, Kim, what did we do?
How much were those black truffles?
How much were they
It's over $100.
No, it's $200 for them.
for the truffles?
$100 a piece.
For just the truffles.
Wow.
And I was
Yeah.
like,
gotta
well,
be careful.
this is by far the most I've ever spent on us eating dinner. That's crazy.
one of the
Won't buy clothes,
I was like,
but we'll buy truffle.
I told you. I'm more interested in food than
Yeah.
Botox and clothes.
Me too. Me too.
All right, man. Hey, Olivia, we love you so
Thank
much.
you so
we
much.
appreciate you being
Thank
with
you
us
guys.
today. And
Thank you.
super stoked for all your success. Please tell everybody who's been listening where they can find you.
Yeah, they can find me at Olivia Derry on Instagram. It's where I'm pretty active right now. And we also have an actual website for the Lift With Liv method, which is very exciting. So you can find that at liftwithlivmethod.com to learn more about my training program. And when we're not launching, we usually have a 7-day free trial. So you can try Lift With Liv before you buy.
Boom.
Love it.
Get
Lift
the
with
free
Liv.
trial.
That
Get
is
the free
Lift
trial.
With Liv, Liv, method.com.
Yep.
Boom.
Check it out. Brian built that.
Hell yeah, Brian.
Let's go.
I
Kick
know.
ass.
Pretty impressive.
You were at Strong
So-
Barbell Club in that video.
Yeah. The lighting is so much better than Zone 6.
Shout out
oh
SBC.
my God. It's so much better. Sweet.
Alrighty.
We did it.